Hello, Paulo Leite here, record collector. Well, it's that time of the year again. It's called Halloween and we all go trick-or-treating. So today I have for you a number of records that will make a perfect soundtrack for your Halloween night. Starting with Vertigo, the soundtrack for the classic 1958 Hitchcock movie. It's composed by Bernard Herrmann and conducted by Muir Mathieson, who I think was the conductor of several soundtracks from the classical Hollywood period. And this is the original soundtrack from the movie. This was released originally in 1958 when the movie was released, but because it was a vinyl version, it didn't contain more than 28 minutes of music from the film. Now this CD, they did restore, for this edition, they did restore a lot of the soundtrack from the movie, and so far as I can tell, this is the more complete version of the soundtrack. It has over an hour of music, and it's amazing. So this is a great buy. There are a couple of alternatives to this soundtrack that I think are also very good, and I suggest also highly. Starting with this one, classic film music by Bernard Herrmann. This was released in 1995 and conducted by Paul Bateman and the City of Prague Philharmonic. It's very good and contains several soundtracks by Bernard Herrmann. And also this one, Psycho, the essential Alfred Hitchcock, containing specifically songs from the Alfred Hitchcock filmography, also conducted by Paul Bateman and the City of Prague Philharmonic. This one was released in 1999, and both of them are great buys. Next, I have for you The Best of the Twilight Zone. Now, this was released in 1985, and it contains several soundtracks from their best episodes. And also, in 1986, they released this one, The Best of the Twilight Zone, Part 2, continuing with some of the best episodes. Here you're going to find great music by Bernard Herrmann, Marius Constant, Nathan Van Cleef, Jerry Goldsmith, and several others amazing composers who wrote great music for the series. So these albums are great buy. Next, and because it's Halloween, of course I have to bring you a Halloween soundtrack. And I have all the Halloween movie soundtracks in my collection. But in my opinion, I think this one is the best of them all. It's from Halloween 2, and I think the cues here are better recorded. They are an improvement over the first movie cues. And also it contains the famous song Mr. Sandman by the Chordettes that was recorded, I think, and released in 1954. So this is a beautiful soundtrack with the perfect atmosphere for any Halloween night. So great buy. Oh, and by the way, Varese Sarabande, the record label, has the soundtracks of the best horror movies ever made. Next, I have for you an album that may be a little bit hard to find, but it's totally worth it. It's called Murder, Mystery and Suspense, and it was released by Cavendish Music in 1987. Now, Cavendish Music used to be a production music arm of Boosey and Hawkes, which used to be also a great record label from the 50s and the 60s. Now, this music was released originally, I think, during the 60s and the 70s, re-released on CD in 1987, and it's basically production music for mysteries, horror, suspense, and all kinds of movies. And for those who don't know, production music is music that is specifically produced for commercial uses. And it used to be that people would buy these records on vinyl and later on CDs. And these albums were very expensive because they used to contain the rights for those who bought them to be able to use them in their productions. And today, there is a large number of people, including myself, who are avid collectors of those albums. So they're very nice and I love them very much. Someday I should make a video about my collection of production music. So for your Halloween, this is a great buy. Next, I have for you the Great Hitchcock Movie Thrillers. And this album was originally released in 1969, and it's amazing because this one is conducted by Bernard Herrmann himself, and he is here behind the London Philharmonic Orchestra, an orchestra that was created, I think, in 1932, and became one of the best orchestras in the United Kingdom. Now, if you look here on the cover, you're going to see that this is a Phase 4 stereo release. Now, Phase 4 stereo used to be a sub-label inside the Decca universe that was well known for its high quality in sound. Initially, I think they used to be recorded in 10-channel recorders, then mixed into 4 channels, and then mastered into stereo. And I think later they started being recorded into 20-channel recorders. Now, I also have for you great film music by Bernard Herrmann. This was released in 1974, also by Phase 4 Stereo. And on this album, Bernard Herrmann is conducting the National Philharmonic Orchestra. This orchestra was created, I think, in 1964, and it started recording for Phase 4 Stereo for Decca in 1971. Great albums for your Halloween. Next, I have for you more great production music. Now, this is called Scream and Scream Again, and it was released in 1988. But this CD comprises two vinyl LPs that were released in 1984 and 1987 that were called Scream and Scream Again and Scream and Scream Again Part 2. They were composed by Tim Soster, a wonderful composer from De Wolf Music. This is a De Wolf Music release, who specialized in writing music in the styles of horror, suspense, mystery, and related styles. And this is a beautiful album. Very, very, very stylish and scary, with beautiful Halloween and horror flavor. This was recorded with the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra, a great orchestra from the United Kingdom that was, I think, formed in 1946. And this is a beautiful album. And every horror lover knows the De Wolf name because George Romero used the De Wolf Music Library extensively in his classic Dawn of the Dead. So this is a beautiful album for your Halloween. And I also have for you Angel of Death. This was released in 1989 and also composed by Tim Soster. And this is even more heavy, more deep and more dark and more demonic than Scream and Scream Again. It's a beautiful album for your Halloween. Now, these two are great buys. Next, I have for you two pieces of classical music that I think are perfect for your Halloween. Starting with Symphonie Fantastique by Hector Berlioz. This is a 1972 recording conducted by Herbert von Karajan with the Berlin Philharmonic. Now, horror fans know this one very well because Stanley Kubrick used an electronic version of it on The Shining. And also, The Damnation of Faust. This one was recorded in 1975 and it's lesser known but equally good. Great buy. Next, I have for you two soundtracks by one of my favorite composers for horror movies, Jerry Goldsmith. This one is Poltergeist, the 1982 classic directed by Tobe Hooper and produced by Steven Spielberg. This is interesting because this is conducted by Jerry Goldsmith himself. He also produced the soundtrack. And it's a beautiful soundtrack with a huge orchestra. And Jerry Goldsmith was one of those composers who really knew how to squeeze an orchestra and take everything they got. To me, this is one of the best soundtracks for a horror movie ever. And Jerry Goldsmith had over his career several great horror movies that are absolutely beautiful in terms of their music soundtrack, including, of course, Poltergeist, but also The Omen, and the next one that I have for you that I also think is one of the best ever, Alien, the classic directed by Ridley Scott. So this is also a beautiful soundtrack for your Halloween. Absolutely great, guys. So here we have Vertigo by Bernard Herrmann, 1958. Psycho, The Essential Alfred Hitchcock, 1999. Torn Curtain, classic film music of Bernard Herrmann, 1995. The Best of the Twilight Zone, 1985. The Best of the Twilight Zone, 1986. Halloween 2, John Carpenter, released in 1990. Murder, Mystery and Suspense, 1987. The Great Hitchcock Thrillers, 1969 by Bernard Herrmann. Bernard Herrmann, Great Film Music, 1974. Scream and Scream Again, 1988 by Tim Soster. Angel of Death, 1989 by Tim Soster. Symphonie Fantastique and The Damnation of Faust, released in 1999. Poltergeist, Jerry Goldsmith, 1982. Alien, 1979, also by Jerry Goldsmith. And here we have it. Happy Halloween, and please remember, visit record shops, buy records. Music is life. Thank you. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel. There's more great content coming soon. Thank you.